just a heads up, this will be a subscriber only live in a little bit, but I will leave the previews on so you can stay for a 6-minute preview. I'm realizing this jacket is like super red when I turn on the camera. That's a very red on camera. It's not that red off camera. Maybe it is. It's a little more maroon off camera. Good evening, everyone. For those of you who are new, hello, my name is Deborah, and this is our AstroLIVE Weekly Peekly. We're going to take a look at the transits for the week, what the astrology looks like for the week, and then also go over each sign and offer a suggestion for each sign to best navigate the energy, harness the energy for the week to your benefit. So, that's the name of the game. And you'll be very excited to know I brought homemade mushroom candies, which look terrible from the bottom here. But I wanted to share these with you guys. I'm super excited. It's the first time, for those of you who've seen my content for a while, I've been really gushing over the amount of witch's butter that has been growing this year. I have found so much witch's butter. It is in my yard. It is in the side yard. It's in the front yard. It's everywhere we go out in the woods. It's over by the pizza place in town where I sit with my computer, you know, like it is just everywhere. So for the first time ever, I attempted making gummy candies out of the witch's butter mushroom. Now, I will tell you, it is really not easy. First of all, making candies is really not easy, in my opinion. I'm not a scientist, which I feel like you need to be to make candies. But these turned out really good. And what I'm noticing is that actually if they keep absorbing all the sugar, and I don't know when they're going to reach their like maximum capacity of sugar and stop absorbing the sugar. I feel like they're just going to keep eating the sugar, consuming the sugar. So I end up rolling them, and they look really like tasty and dry for a little bit. And then they end up getting a little wet. So you guys can't really see. That is a mushroom gummy. Witch's butter. Rolled in sugar an excessive number of times. I'm not a big fan of sugar, but these are witch's butter mushrooms, and I don't know. I've read a couple of different ways to do this, and one of the things I come across the most is that if you try to dehydrate them first, they basically just disappear because it's jelly mushroom, so it's pretty much, right, all moisture. Anyway, this is totally not the topic for the live. But I had to share with you guys my gummy mushrooms my mushroom gummy candy that I made. And it's actually really cool because if you saw the video from where we harvested them, we harvested them from a part of the forest that had been burned really badly a number of years ago. And so the witch's butter, I think that might be part of why there was so much witch's butter out there. But when I was harvesting it off the tree, we got these little chunks of charred tree. And I thought about like picking them all out. And then I went, but also charcoal is kind of it's a good thing for your belly. It's good. It's not a terrible thing to occasionally consume. It helps clear toxins and stuff like that out of your body. So these are a fucking mushroom with charcoal. And they're amazing. They taste like little squishy candies. Anyhow, that's my, not my huge news for the week. We got all kinds of other planetary stuff happening for the week. But, yeah, like I said, they don't look terribly appetizing. Especially not on camera. But I guarantee you they're delicious. So, that's my thing. Now you know. Now you know I eat mushrooms like they're candy. Witch's butter. I also put them on my toast because that's really nice too. And I had a lovely friend come to visit today, and she was even adventurous enough to have some of the witch's butter mushrooms too. And she liked them so much I sent her home with them. And that makes me really, really, really especially happy to share delicious creations. Okay. So we'll give it a few minutes. I usually wait until about 6:10 and then switch to subscriber only. Again, this is our weekly peekly. So we are going to talk about the astrology for this week, what the chart for this week looks like, as well as how each sign, the theme for each sign this week, as well as how to really harness the energy to most benefit you based on sign. Now, remember, as we talked about last week, when you're listening to suggestions for by the signs, it is really important to listen not just to your sun sign, but also to your moon and your rising. If you don't know those, come join us on Friday night, and we can pull up your natal chart and find what those are. Or you can just go to astro.com and find that. That's one of my favorite resources. I pay for a subscription for those guys, with those guys, because of how much information they have there and how extensive the platform is and the tools are there. So that's my recommendation for a place to go get your chart. If you have never seen your natal chart, if you don't know what that stuff looks like. Oh, I just remembered. We're supposed to share the live. When I go live. I remember how to do this. I only took, a week off, 2 weeks off at the beginning of the year. Okay. Gigi, you're already in here. I don't need to share that with you. Bam, bam, wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Hey, Nikki. How are you? Okay. We've got 3 whole minutes until we shut down the live. I am doing great. I went on a adventure today with a new friend. It was the first time we met each other in person. And we went, had some breakfast, and then went for a walk by the river and talked about fairies and ascension. And hey, Luke, how are you? And collected rocks and told stories. And it was just a really wonderful, those times when you meet somebody and you can spend time with them and it's easy, it's aligned, the conversation flows, it feels really good. So I'm really grateful. That's how this was. And so I'm really grateful for the opportunity to spend my afternoon with somebody else. I tend to be a loner. As you guys know, I'm out here in the rural, wherever, pretty much by myself with the kiddo. He keeps me company. But I don't adult very well. Mostly because I'm kind of, my energy is very important to me. So I'm very mindful of the space and the people that I spend my time with, because I like to keep my energy field pretty clear. And that's one of the benefits of being really rural, is that unlike being in a much more populated area, which I've lived in before, you don't get that same onslaught of energy, right? Of people and other people's energy and stuff, and electronics and internet and all this other stuff invading your energy field. So I'm very particular about who I spend time with. So I really appreciated this afternoon. It's nice when I choose to spend that time with somebody and it turns out to be so wonderful. Hello, John. Aren't we all? I think that's kind of the nature of being human. Hey, Tony. The nature of being human is to be traumatized by way of having to become human. I mean, when I used to always imagine, when I worked in birth, I did birth, for almost a decade, number of deliveries. And I used to always think about this piece. I'm not disguising it, my friend. Are you? Or what makes you think I'm disguising things? In fact, I'm here sharing it, right? Talking about how, just the event of trying to compress something infinite, right? Our prana source, our the source energy that we come from, to then consolidate that, smash that into a finite body in this physical world that is so very limited. We were limitless before. That in and of itself must be a trauma, right? The realization that we have separated, or we get stuck in the separation of the illusion of separation from the whole, that in and of itself is a trauma. That in and of itself. And I really do believe, in my experience and my understanding, that that's the nature of being human, because without that initial separation, we cannot come home to ourselves. To come home to yourself, you have to leave, right? You have to leave home first to come home again. To fall back in love with yourself, you have to fall out of love with yourself. It's just a really important process, and I think it's a really beautiful dance that we play with life. And when we look at it like that, rather than being, I'm traumatized because of these awful things that happened to me, and I'm a victim of my circumstance and a victim of life, or God's, attacking me, or the universe is out to get me, or whatever whatever other things that we use to talk about them and put ourselves in a powerless position. Instead, we can look at these energies that we were born into, the lives we were born into, and see how to use it, right, to our advantage. And that is why I lean into astrology. I love it as a lens. It is not the end-all, be-all lens, and everyone knows astrology is up to interpretation. So hang out if you want to see what the transits are, what the energies are for this week, and we can talk about each sign. Remember, you want to listen for your sun, your moon, and your rising sign to get a well-rounded idea of how these energies are going to be affecting you this week. Again, it's not the end-all, be-all lens, but it's a really helpful lens. Like I've said before, the energy is the language I speak. So, yeah, right, Tony? We all have trauma. Sindel, thoughts on manifesting. It is a accessible tool that we can use to by way of building relationship with the universe, by way of building relationship with the energies available to us in this universe. And when we align ourselves with those energies, manifestation starts to happen. And I say that from a perspective of somebody who tried manifestation for so long and like nearly popped my brain cells, probably popped a couple of blood vessels, trying so hard to manifest, and then finding the way of aligning myself and surrendering myself to energies and to the flow of life and whatnot. And when I did that as more of a, again, passive experience, not a doing, not a trying, not a pushing, a pulling energy, but a surrender, relaxing, accepting, that kind of energy, that's when manifestation really started to unfold for me. So that's my suggestion for it. And again, check your astrology. You know, maybe what you're trying to manifest or hoping to manifest isn't even something that's really available to you. We tend to be a little bit arrogant as humans, and we think that we know what's best for ourselves. And sometimes, yeah, absolutely. But sometimes the universe goes, the plan is so much bigger, right? Because we can only see so far. We can only see put to the end of our noses kind of deal, right? We're so human. We're so stuck in our little limited perception bubbles. We truly don't know the whole picture. And again, I have found more manifestation when I sit back and trust the flow of life and align myself with what life is bringing to me and simply discern, not for me, yes for me, not for me, yes for me, and keep aligning myself with whatever you want to call it, my dharma, my purpose, my path, whatever, the destiny, my fate, you know, whatever you want to call it. It's really aligning yourself with your authenticity, with the available energies, the most authentic expression of the energies available and flowing through you. Okay, so all of that said, we are going to talk about the week. I'm going to give an overview of the week, talk about which planets are, what the planets are doing. I'm not going to talk about every single transit, but I am going to point out a couple of things that are going to be influencing this week. If you were here last week, you know how this goes. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this into a subscriber-only live. Remember, if you'd like to access this live, it's a Sunday night live where we talk about the week, our weekly peekly, and then on Friday nights, we do a natal chart reading live. That is a closed session. There are no previews in there. You have to be subscriber-only to get in there. That's a way to keep kind of that information private and it be a more safe space to talk about people's natal charts. So feel free to subscribe tonight. You can either subscribe here, you can go to my profile, subscribe, all of that good stuff. But hang out. You do get a 6-minute preview tonight. Thank you for the follow. Let me see if I remember how to do this. Oh, sorry, dog. There it is. Okay. Allow preview. 6-minute preview on. There you go, guys. We got a 6-minute preview available so you guys can hang out. Let's get started. For those of you new here, hello. My name is Reverend Deborah. I am a movement facilitator, movement in breath, body, and being, and I am the owner of MoveWithChange.com. We are an online platform where we're building a community, and we call our CAYA Sangha. CAYA stands for CAYA stands for Come As You Are, because everybody deserves a space to show up exactly as they are, a safe space to show up exactly as they are, especially when we're on this journey of coming home to ourselves, of self-improvement, self-development, learning about ourselves, falling back in love with ourselves, all of these things. Oftentimes, for those of you doing it, shadow work and whatnot, right? It gets messy. It gets messy. And there's a lot of times where we feel like we can't show up to our normal safe spaces because we're that messy. So Anyway, when you subscribe, you get a month free over at the CAYA Sangha. So keep that in mind in case you'd like to subscribe. You can always go check out what we have over there. We have group coaching, in-house group coaching, twice weekly group coaching. We've got a practice session there that builds on the other classes that I do. And in those group coaching, you also get a 50% discount on all of my other services. All of that aside, let's dive into this week. Okay. So we've got... If you guys were here last week we were talking about how it's a really important time. Actually, let me pull up last week's thing. We were talking about how important it is last week to reevaluate. We had Juno that went retrograde in Virgo, and I know that not everybody likes space rocks, but I love space rocks because they do have a unique influence on the energy, on the overall collective energy that's going on. So that Juno retrograde in Virgo, along with some of the other aspects, asked us to really take stock of our plans, of our lives, of our relationships, of our shared resources, of partnerships, of contracts, of anything in that regard where there is something some relationship that we have where there is some kind of exchange within that relationship. It can be intimate, it can be career, it can be whatever, right? It can also be a relationship with yourself. So remember, every time I talk about love or relationships, I am both talking about external relationships as well as internal relationships, because as within, so without. There's always a mirror for that. And oftentimes to improve our relationships externally, we need to improve our relationship with ourselves first, right? So, so keep that in mind. So hopefully you did a little bit of reevaluating about your partnerships, about your relationships, about the shared resources and things like that with yourself and with others. Now is the time. We had that new moon last week, right? And that's that time for setting intentions. It's the start of a new cycle. So that's that reevaluation, taking stock of things, having the practical, down-to-earth conversations that are needed around, such matters as shared resources or shared housing or shared, whatnot. So this week, we now move into the first quarter moon. And what I love about the first quarter moon is it's the beginning of the race, right? It's the beginning of the horse race, so to speak. It's like that new moon that as soon as we move past the new moon, that buzzer goes off and the gates fly open. And we all have a different way of going at the race, right? So some of us go boom, bolt out the gate and go running down and end up way too far ahead of ourselves, right? So depending on how you addressed the energies last week, what you discovered in your reevaluation of your relationships, as well as what you discovered in the communication about those shared relationships and resources, you hopefully will be starting to put some things into action this week. So seek balance. The big important thing this week is with those energies starting us off into the beginning of the moon cycle, right? We still have a couple of different planets in Capricorn. We have, which is grounded, long-term focused energy. The transits of the moon this week, even we're in the first quarter, and we're going to move through Pisces, Aries, and Taurus. So it's going to move through these kind of like maybe dreamier, sort of more in your head, imagining the possibility kind of space in the beginning of the week. And then we're going to move into the, okay, now it's time to take action. It's time to take action. You have that spark. You're ready to go. Seek balance. Seek balance between that feeling of wanting to be innovative and being practical about the steps to get you there, right? Using that, balancing innovation and practicality, balancing emotional depth and assertiveness. Balance your idealism with your realism, right? We move, again, the moon moves from Pisces to Aries to Taurus, which brings us down to that real grounded, heavy, earthy energy. So our emotions may feel more heavy, have more weight to them towards the end of the week. Again, make sure you're keeping a balance. Lean into the energy that Capricorn is offering us with the practicality. Mars is in Capricorn and will remain that way this week, which offers us a boost, more fuel for our drive and determination, which is also, again, sparked by that Aries moon midweek. So use those energies. You reevaluated last week. You're imagining what's going to happen. You're kind of getting some idea of where those long-term plans may be taking you. Start taking actionable steps. Again, make sure that you're being practical and grounded as we're moving forward. That is the gift, that is the request of Capricorn, okay? Capricorn has a lot of ambition. So does Aries. And so does Taurus too. But Capricorn really is about the long term. We're not looking at the next couple of weeks. We're looking at the next year or more, right? Let's see. The other piece to that too, to align with those transits of the moon, we have Saturn is in Pisces and will remain so. Saturn moves slowly, so Saturn will be in Pisces for a little bit, but that reminder of Saturn as Pisces is reminding us to be responsible. Will bring some responsibility to our dreams, to our imagination, to our, we're imagining infinite opportunity, and Saturn being there in Pisces, that weight of Saturn, of the ideal, or the, practical, grounded, heady, slow, adulting energy is going to bring you down, bring those dreams a little bit down to earth, which is good because that is how we grow our dreams into reality, right? We bring them down to earth and we root them in grounded, practical, actionable steps. And then we water them and we tend to them and we cultivate our garden. It's the beginning of the year, right? That's what we're going to be doing all year long, is cultivating these gardens. So this is what you're planning for this week. I know it's totally apropos with the January, and these energies are right there saying, okay, sit down, have those conversations, make sure you start planning, look at the year ahead. What do you want to grow? What do you want to cultivate? Where do you want to be at the end of the year? And where is that going to set you up for next year and beyond? So big plans, far future, right? Other thing to note is that this week, Chiron, which is your wounded healer, is often our key to our healing, and our true node, which is our direction, our North Star, so to speak. Both of those are in Aries. So that's going to offer more of a spark. So imagine that more energy to your healing and your North Star and your direction and your destiny, sort of, I use that word loosely, your direction. So again, use that energy. This is a good opportunity to use, knowing that you have that energy and that the plans that you're making are going to cultivate your healing along with them. Be aware of your identity and your relationships, how well, that relationship is going, that you have shared money in it. Is it something that's going to be sustainable, that feels good, or does it not feel aligned? Make sure you align these things so that you can build a balanced, sustainable future for yourself, right? And that may not be monetary. It may be in some other aspect, right? We're not all going to be trillionaire, wealthy, what have you, because of how we plan this year. But there is a lot available to you to really boost those plans, to really push those plans in a way that will bring you more balance, more peace, and more healing, and align you more with your authenticity, with your path. The only big caution that I have is that Venus is square Neptune. So be cautious of unrealistic expectations. When we are planning ahead, and especially long term, sometimes, especially with some Pisces energy in here, sometimes we have unrealistic expectations. And we really hope for things to be in a way that's not quite as realistic, right, for our energy or for our life. So just be aware of that. And maybe when you feel like you're pushing the edges of your dream space and maybe getting a little unrealistic, go ahead and write those things down. Go ahead and plan for those things and release them, right? Things that seem a little bit extra big or a little bit fringe or a little bit whatnot, we're not trying to push ourselves leap and bounds and way ahead. This energy is about practical, tangible, actionable, small steps that are going to sustain you throughout the year to build on whatever it is that is most aligned with your purpose and your life. Okay, so the focus, again, long-term plans, personal growth, relationship exploration, and strategic planning. Okay, This is what we need to be doing this week, and this is the point at which we need to actually be putting down those plans and looking at how are we going to actually take those steps. Again, last week was just re-looking at things. Maybe you haven't had if you haven't had the conversations that you needed to have last week, please have those conversations. The longer you wait, the more unavailable those conversations may become. We had really good energy available to us to have those practical, sometimes difficult conversations. Remember we said that if there's an elephant in the room, please fucking talk about the elephant in the room, because it may not be so easy in the coming weeks if you don't take that opportunity. So I hope you guys took that opportunity last week to have the conversations, to look at the elephant in the room, to seek balance, and to show up authentically in your relationships with your, very practical conversations about, like, here's matter of fact, what I need, what I don't, what aligns with me and what doesn't. How are we going to make this work? So let's talk about the signs. I went backwards last week, so we'll go ahead and start with Aries. Did anybody have any questions about, I feel like I kind of went through that a little bit fast, so I apologize if I was kind of, I had a little coffee this afternoon. Does anybody have any questions or want some more clarification or want me to repeat something about this week? Thank you guys for the follows. If not, I will go ahead and move on to the signs. And if questions pop up, just go ahead and drop them in the comments. Guys, please feel free to drop questions at will. I usually do pretty good about pausing to answer questions. So if you hear something that you want to ask a question about while I'm talking about it, feel free not to, don't worry about interrupting kind of deal, right? Okay. Aries, I know you love it when we start with you. Aries, your theme for this week is balancing action and emotion. Balancing action and emotion. This week, we're asking you, Aries, the stars, the planets are asking you to channel your assertiveness wisely. Consider the emotional impact of your actions. Right? We're seeking balance between action and emotion. So consider the emotional impact of your actions and find balance between all that beautiful passion that you have that drives you and makes you do these amazing, beautiful, powerful things for us. Thank you so much for being the first one on the front lines, Aries. And it's important, I know you know it, it's important to cultivate that sensitivity, emotional sensitivity, both with your own as well as with those of others. Okay? Sometimes we know, again, we love your energy, but sometimes it can feel aggressive, feel overly assertive. And we know that not always do you intend it to be that way. Do you intend to be so powerful, so fiery, so loud, so beautiful, so cardinal? Trying to start shit all the time, Aries. Anyway, so balance that emotion with action, please, and try and really take this week to see little ways that you can find a little bit more sensitivity, make a little bit more space in your heart for your own emotional reactions. Again, remember, for us to have those healthy, good, balancing, supportive interactions outside of us, we need to work on it within ourselves first. So that's Aries. That's your theme for this week. Balance action with emotion. Passion with sensitivity. Taurus. Your theme for the week is abundance and growth. You Taurians have been having some really nice abundance energy. I don't know if you guys have been feeling it. Again, remember, you want to listen for your sun sign, your rising sign, and your moon sign. Gigi, hey. There's my Taurian. Abundance and growth. Embrace opportunity for personal and material growth. Those opportunities are coming to you. Again, it's like the energy in the cosmos is allowing them to come to you last week and this week. I haven't looked much further ahead. Hopefully that energy continues for you. Focus on cultivating abundance in practical and spiritual aspects of life. Abundance in practical and spiritual, in the material and the ethereal world. Okay? sorry, images popping up. I was just looking at the Taurus and seeing that forest, that abundant forest, that you guys oftentimes are, that sturdy, quiet, long lasting, but very abundant forest. New growth. It's a new year. There are new things popping up underneath your feet, right underneath your feet. That's how close this energy is. It's going to be literally popping up underneath your feet. So watch where you step, watch where you step, and embrace the opportunities that arise, right? We want to make sure, a lot of times when opportunity arises for us, we either doubt it or we question it, or we go, well, maybe that's not for me, right? Yeah. So just watch out for it. And when it does come, be willing to accept it. Be willing to accept it, even if it's a little bit of abundance, even if it's not what you hoped for. I know sometimes as Taurians, you guys can kind of have this like, that's really nice, but it's not exactly what I wanted, or exactly as much as I wanted, or how words. There's this thing about Taurus energy where you guys there's a finer aspect that you appreciate in life. You appreciate abundance. You appreciate pretty things. You appreciate comfort, right? You appreciate things that bring you ease and comfort and stability. So just be aware of how those things are manifesting in your life. Keep an eye out for them. Gemini, again, you are communicators, right? Our chatty Gemini. Strategic communication. So again, that Gemini energy where we may not be strategic in our speech, in our ways of communicating. We are so typically skilled at communicating. Sometimes we can talk circles around people and around things and are not as aware of either other people's ability to receive what we're saying in the way that we're saying it. So Gemini, you have a unique opportunity, and I was looking at last week. Sorry, I'm referring to last week again too, to see which of these energies are like a continuation, and they are continuations. But last week we were asking you to look at your relationships, particularly your partnerships of all kinds, and to have constructive conversations. So this is a continuation, that strategic communication. I need you to keep practicing that strategic communication. Your message will be so much more clear and come through so much more clearly when you can be strategic with your words. Be impeccable with your words. There's a thing, I'm a Gemini rising, so I always listen to this one here. But there's a thing that I always say as a Gemini rising, and it's a quote from a song from 90s, early 2000s. Say what you mean what you say what you mean when you say it, right? That's what your energy you're looking for here. Say what you mean what you say, and say what you mean when you say it. Align your words with your truth. Align your speech, your communication with your authenticity. Not verbose, not aggressive or attacking or weaponizing, right? Not talking circles around people. Sometimes you might need to bring down that energy a little bit to meet somebody at their level. That is strategic communication. It's not changing who you are or making you act differently. It is about you being able to be empathetic enough to meet someone else where they're at so that you can get your communication across, because we know how important it is for you guys to communicate your ideas. Okay. I even wrote a note here to plan your conversations, to express your ideas within that long-term vision. Remember, we're all looking at our long-term goals this week. And Gemini, yours are going to be about your relationships, because that's one of the most important work that you do, spiritual work that you do in this lifetime. But one thing that can be helpful is to sit down and plan ahead, and to actually go through the conversation, ways that you think it might go, ways that you could possibly use the two sides of your head to have a conversation, right? And experiment with some different ways to be a little bit more strategic. And that's going to be based on who you are and your energy and what you know that you can either, how you know you're kind of be out of balance, if you know you're a fast talker, if you know you're, what have you. Trust your intuition in where you need to be more strategic, okay? All of this is about us learning, creating a better relationship with ourselves, learning more about ourselves so that we can expand that understanding to others, right? Seek first to understand yourself. And when you do that, then you are very welcome, Nikki. Then when you do that, you are much more able to see other people for who they truly are, to put aside your biases and judgments when you do that for yourself. So moving on, Cancer. Of course, again, I love my Cancerians. You guys are so squishy inside. But shh, I won't tell anybody. Okay, emotional balance in relationships. This week, the planets are asking you to pay attention to to emotional needs in relationships. It can be your emotional needs if you've been putting your emotional needs aside. It can be other people's emotional needs if you've been ignoring their emotional needs. So again, trust you, your intuition, your guidance, your higher self, and ask yourself, where do I need to cultivate more balance? Thanks, Eric. Hey, cultivate more balance in my relationships. Balance between nurturing, again, self and other, being nurturing, and asserting your own desires. Again, I know you Cancers tend to be very, very, very nurturing, very, very, very caretaking. But you can also flip that switch very quickly and become extremely closed off. And there's a piece that gets missed oftentimes in there. I know you guys sometimes struggle with caring for others to such an extent that your own needs are put aside, and then you get hurt and closed down because your needs aren't being met, but you need to communicate those, okay? Find balance between asserting your own desires and your own needs and being nurturing to others. It's an important part of being authentic, right? Because authentic, really, being our authentic selves is to say that we also need nurturing too, okay? It's okay to accept nurturing. It's okay to invite nurturing, and it's okay to receive nurturing. You guys deserve it. You guys do so much nurturing of others. Make sure that you're nurturing yourself too. Find balance, emotional balance in your relationships. Okay, Leo. Hi, Leo. Creativity and intuition. This is your theme for the week. Creativity and intuition. And this does go along with last week's, which was also creativity and self-expression. So lucky you, Leo, the cosmos are saying, lean into it, show off, make a scene, like do a thing, right? Lean into your creativity and intuition and self-expression, right? And again, this is all talking about our long-term potential. We're planning strategically, we're being grounded and whatnot. So in the arena of long-term plans that are going to align yourself more squarely on your path, that are going to help you find balance and healing, the cosmos are asking you in that regard to tap into your creative potential. Trust your intuition in decisions and let your creativity flow freely. So this is a big piece for you. Trust that intuition. I know sometimes you second guess it, or sometimes it feels so loud and obtuse, intrusive. There we go. That's the other word I was looking for. Intrusive, that you ignore it because it's so intrusive. I would highly advise, because of all this creative energy that you've got, use that creative energy to express your intuition. So if you are somebody who struggles to hear your intuition or hear your guides, or you're not sure what your intuition is telling you kind of thing, lean into your creativity. Lean into some kind of art project, some kind of stage thing, some kind of singing, whatever it is that you do that is uniquely to you, your creative spark. Use that to express your intuition. And that will help to solidify, to deepen that relationship between your intuition and your, what did I want to say? Lower self, conscious self, higher self, and material self. Yeah. So use that creativity to increase your intuition, to find balance between trusting your intuition and also being practical, right? That's that Capricorn energy is asking us to be practical, but it's important for you to trust your intuition in terms of the decisions that you are going to be making moving forward. Okay, dear Virgo, you're next. I know you were dreading this moment. Thanks, Em. Practical planning, Virgo. Organize plans and goals systematically. We know you're very good at it. Write the outline, fill in the details, add some bullet points, write a summary and an overview, and make sure to date and cross the T's and dot the I's, right? Thank you, Nikki. So systematically organize and plan for those goals. You know that that's what you love to do, and you know that it's going to help you as you move through the year. If you have this stuff all written out and all strategically planned step by step, you can see where you're going, you can look at what you're doing, and you know what's coming next, so you won't get caught off guard. Always beware. Again, this is the Venus square Neptune energy of beware of unrealistic expectations, Virgo. Unrealistic expectations when you are doing the strategic planning. You may not realize that they're unrealistic yet. When you get later on, weeks or months down the year, they may become unrealistic. Virgo, if they become unrealistic, let them go. Please. Message from the cosmos. Okay. Focus on the practical details to bring structure to your ambitions. I know that sometimes when you have this big hope or dream in your head that you want to manifest, it can feel overwhelming. It can feel like as Virgos who love the details, sometimes we get so overwhelmed with the details, we skip them and we try to jump really fast ahead. Not this time, okay? Take your time, put those steps in, make them actionable. Recognize that there's probably some unrealistic expectation because you always have unrealistic expectation of yourself, my friend. And so when you see those realistic expectations in those steps, when you get to those points, again, be willing to let them go. Be willing to seek potentially unconventional solutions to the spots where you get stuck. And that kind of works for everybody this month or this week. Actually, this month, I think. Because there is this. Okay. Libra, lovely Libra. How are you doing this evening, Libra? Have you had a lovely day? How was your Sunday? Yeah, me too. Libra, relationship exploration. We know that you Libras have a propensity for bringing people together, for balancing relationships, oftentimes those that are not your own. And you do very good at bringing people together to solve issues, to work through barriers. You are our networkers. You are our bring people together matchmaker energy, right? So I invite you, the cosmos invite you this week to explore your relationship. Embrace an adventurous spirit in your relationships. Explore new facets of connection and maintain balance between idealism and reality. Again, Libras, you love others so much, and you do see the best in others and the potential in others so much that you can sometimes get caught in the illusion of idealism and potentially put yourself in situations that aren't quite so feasible or practical or rooted in reality. So at the same time, open yourself up to some new exploration. Open yourself up to maybe some unconventional or unexpected ways of connecting with others, or even ways of bringing others together, as well as connecting with yourself, right? And at the same time, work to focus on maintaining the balance between that idealism and the idealism that is honestly oftentimes your gift, right? You can see the potential, and so we You inspire others. That's what I'm looking for. You inspire others with that idealism. But it's important not to get lost in that idealism, especially this week, again, because of that Venus in square Neptune, that is bringing us the potential for unrealistic expectations. So just note that it's available this week, that we may be a little bit more idealistic or a little bit higher in our expectations than is realistically feasible. So just know that that's available, and that the cosmos are going to bring you some opportunities for relationship exploration, for exploration of different ways of connecting with yourself and with others. Okay, Scorpio, are you ready? I know you were born ready. Transformation in goals. Allow your goals to transform and evolve. Embrace change and align your ambition with your desire. So there are some energies right now that are bringing you, Scorpios, a lot of change. A lot of things are changing for some of you right now. A lot of you are working to balance your practical, realistic, grounded, long-term goals with the passions and ambitions that you have. We know that you feel so intensely the passion for the things that you are interested in, passionate about, right? And you can sometimes follow that sinking rock all the way down to the bottom of the lake when you really just need to just let that go. I know that you're passionate about it. I know you loved that rock. I know it was your favorite rock, and now it's lost at the bottom of the lake. But if it's lost at the bottom of the lake, it's safe. Okay? It's safe there. You can go get it another time if you really need to. Right now, it is about finding a balance between going all the way down and staying at the surface. So this is the opportunity for you to look at those long-term goals, to align your ambition with that passion with practical, actionable steps this week, okay? And again, we're looking at long-term, months, years, like at least the end of the year. This is the time that the cosmos are asking you, hey, this is a really great time to sit down and make plans, to reevaluate what you're doing, because there's huge changes happening. And there's going to be more and more and more of not just opportunity to be authentic, but almost, that word doesn't work grammatically. Imploring. I keep getting this imploring, like please be your authentic self. It doesn't serve you not to be. That's what I keep reading when I'm looking at these weeks, and I'm looking at the weeks ahead. I just keep hearing more and more and more of this. Please just have the conversation. Say what you meant to say. Say what you really mean. Express what your truth really is. Balance those desires with practicality. Look realistically at yourself, at your life, at your emotions, at your shared resources, at your finances, at your relationships, at your fucking job. Like, do these things align with you? We have spectacular energy for clearing out the things that do not align. The letting go of a relationship or a job or something that's not working for you is going to be a lot more smooth right now. Yes, there will be opportunities to let go of those things later on if you're not ready to, right? We're not going to push anybody to do anything, but just know that it's like, pardon the voices in my head. It's like the tunnel, the slide is just lubed this week, so you can get right out of there. I apologize. I think that happened last week too. That this energy is just like, yo, the tunnel is lubed. You are like set to go. You're going to right through it. I just need you to focus, and I just need you to get on the ride that you really want to get on, because the energy is going to move you through that ride. And if you don't get on the ride, you're going to end up with a non-lubed slide over here, all sticky, getting sideways, getting metal burn, like when we were kids on the hot metal slides in the summer. That's going to be what it feels like if you don't harness the energy that's available now. Now, that's not to scare anybody. Again, that is meant only to let you know that the energy is available. And again, I want to say this caveat or this side note. There is never a missed opportunity. Okay. You are where you need to be, exactly when you need to be there. And if the changes that we're talking about aren't happening for you right now, that doesn't mean that they're not going to. That means that there is still something in these things that you're working through that is a lesson or a gift. I call it a gift. There's a gift for you in the situation that you're in. If it feels tumultuous, if it feels like you can't be your authentic self, if it feels totally and like an antithesis to who you are, but you feel stuck in it now, and you just look at it and you're like, I can't quit that job. I'm not going to leave that partner. I'm not going to what have you. If you feel that grounded and that adamant about not making the change, trust your intuition. There is another way that this energy is going to work for you. And there's going to be another opportunity for you to move through or grow out of whatever it is that you're ready to let go of. It will not let go until you're ready to let go. That's how attachment works, right? Or until we start to release our grip on these things. But we often grip on things because of doubt, fear, shame, worry, right? These things that we ultimately, once we work to heal them, once we do the work to heal them within ourselves, then it's much easier to align with these energies as they come, to take these opportunities. But it's not that you're going to miss it. You're not going to miss it. You are exactly who you need to be, where you need to be, when you need to be. If the world didn't need you to be here now, you wouldn't be here. And there's a reason you are here. And I don't care if you want to call it dharma. I don't care if you want to call it destiny. I don't care if you want to call it fate. I don't care if you want to call it God. I don't care what you call it. There is a reason and a purpose that you are here. And I implore you, the stars implore you to be the you that you are really intended to be, right? My favorite analogy is that, because I speak energy, right? We speak from the energy body. I speak from the energy body. So I perceive the energy body as an instrument. You are intended to sing a unique tune, a unique note. And the collective is the chorus. We need you standing exactly where you are in the chorus so the song hits. So the song slaps. Without you, this shit don't slap, baby. We need you. We need your baritone. We need your soprano. We need your solo. We need you exactly where you are, exactly as you are. I cannot implore you enough. Your authenticity is the purest expression of God source, of source energy, of divinity. If you knew that divinity, that God was trying to speak through you, would you not open your mouth and let that shit out? Like, okay. Anyway, that's the talk. Okay. We've had the talk. Thank you guys for sitting through the talk. I love you guys so much. And I'm really fucking stoked that you're here. I'm stoked we're here. This is really exciting, isn't it? Maybe not the weekly peekly as exciting, but the whole like big picture, right? The big stuff. Okay. Carrying on. I'm sorry, Sagittarius. I took so long to get to you, but we're here now. Okay. My Sagittarians, your theme for this week is open-minded exploration. Now, this is actually something we know that you're pretty good at. And also, we know you guys can kind of get yourself locked into a corner of, I know. Okay. So the energy this week is asking you to lean into the open-mindedness, to let go of the I knows, to let go of the certainty, to let go of not everything that you've learned in the past because it brings value to you, right? But allow for a little more space. Allow, and these are my favorite words, you guys know it. Sagittarius, this week, approach life, approach your relationships, approach your long-term ambitions with curiosity and willingness. When you do, I guarantee you will find something unexpected. You will find a gift within that. You will find what you love, right? Which is learning something new. So I implore you, please, if you have it in you this week, to approach life with open-mindedness, with curiosity and willingness. Stay open in your expectations, please. Right? Again, this is how we receive the most abundance and the most knowledge and growth and wisdom, is when we remain open. Foster a sense of adventure and curiosity, especially in your relationships. Again, Sagittarius, I know that you guys, we can fall a little bit into that place of I know, and therefore I know who that person is. I know what they're like. Oh, I know that type of person. So set down your judgments and be willing to see those relationships and the people around you and yourself in a different light, in a potentially new light, right? My favorite thing to do as a kid was to find a new spot to stand in the room. And sometimes that meant lying upside down on the couch or standing on the countertop or, you know, going into somebody else's room and standing in a weird corner in a weird way because of the thrill that it gave me to see a new perspective. Invite that thrill because it's an adventure, right? We know you love adventure. We know you love travel. We know you love to go on excursions. So focus on that energy, that liveliness that you get from new experiences, and cultivate that energy when you're interacting in your day-to-day life, okay? Every day has the potential to be an adventure for you, especially this week, especially as you are planning for your long-term goals, planning for your future. It's super exciting. I can't wait to see what you have in store, Sag. What you have planned for your year. Hey Ryan, how are you? So again, if anybody did not hear their sign and wants to request, I can go back once I get through these. We will still have, I usually do these for 2 hours, so we can chat about it afterwards too, if you want to talk a little more in depth about the transits and things that are going on, or more in depth about what the energies are for your sign. Yes, we just did Libra a minute ago. So let me get through these and we'll go back to Libra, okay? Capricorn. Y'all have been going through a lot lately. Changes, growth, upheaval in so many different areas of your life. And I am so sorry. And also I am so excited for you because it's the great reordering. That's what I keep thinking of when I'm thinking of Capricorn right now. I keep hearing this like the great rearranging, right? It's some big thing that is happening for you guys. And that's powerful and beautiful. But we just moved out of, that's why you are at the end of a generational Capricorn cycle. So it's time with this new era coming in where we are moving into Aquarius. You're being asked to rearrange and to adjust so that you fit into the new dynamic. So ground your ambitions. Grounded ambitions is your theme this week. We are planning for long-term goals the year ahead and beyond. Keep those practical communication lines open. Keep having those conversations. Ground your ambitions in practicality. Take disciplined steps towards your goals, considering the long-term implications. So again, it's planning for you, and in light of all of the things that have recently changed, again, I implore you to seek potentially unconventional ways of accomplishing your goals long term. There is an opportunity for the unexpected to manifest for us. So if there are places where you're feeling uncertain about your goals or about how to get to them, allow space for the unexpected to manifest. Again, approach these from a grounded place, pulling ourselves away from the idealism and more down into reality of like, what's really practical? What can I really do this year? And where do I really want to go this year? Sometimes our ambitious Capricorns, you guys can think really, really far ahead, especially with the long-term mindedness. Again, either miss the steps in between or spend your time in tomorrow before you're even there. And in that way, you can often miss the steps that are going to get you there, or miss the opportunities that are going to make that process more smoothly, or realign you with something that is more for you, more suited for you. So keep that in mind. We hopefully will have a little bit of a slowing down for you as far as changes go. So if you've had some upheaval in the last few weeks, expect that to settle a little bit. But again, keep your expectations practical, and make plans with actionable steps for long-term achievements, long-term ambitions. Okay, Aquarius, you guys have been doing some heavy, 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 heavy lifting too. So as we move into your era here, Aquarius, this week we're asking you to, the cosmos are asking you to, the focus on unconventional social connections. There is a lot of expansion happening for my Aquarians. There is a lot of new relationships happening. There are a lot of new things coming into your life, and they are going to feel, you're going to know which ones are aligned and which ones are not. Trust your authenticity, trust your gut. Remember, you are your own guru. You need to focus on what resonates within you, what's for you. And if it's not for you, just turn your attention away. No need to waste any time or any energy on it. And again, seeking that, Aquarians, what's for you right now is these unconventional connections, because they are going to be the fodder for your future, for the manifestations of your dreams and desires as you start to really pick up speed in the coming years. So there's a lot available and coming to you, Aquarians. So lean into those unconventional social connections, embrace your uniqueness in social interactions. If there was ever a time to let your Aquarian flag fly, now is it. Maybe in the past you've let your Aquarian flag fly and people have like looked at you sideways and funny and been like, what a weirdo. You know, we know you Aquarians can come across as a little odd and unconventional all by yourselves. So sometimes you get side glances, but the entire universe is like, we need you to be you. We need you to be you all the way, out loud, and in all your glory. Okay. So lean into that. Lean into those unconventional social connections, connect with like minds, and explore innovative ways of collaboration. This, my friends, I think is one of the most important things in the whole paper. Connect with like minds and explore innovative ways of collaboration. We are collectively moving into a time where collaboration is imperative, is becoming more and more and more imperative. And through this, Aquarians, you guys are taking the lead on a lot of really amazing collective changes. And so you are going to be the ones spearheading, in a lot of ways, these new types of relationships, the new ways to connect with each other, the new ways of being, of communicating, of interacting. You guys are going to be the trailblazers in that regard. And we are going to look to you, Aquarians, over the coming years for how to move into the new energy that's coming, that's literally manifesting, right? Very, very, I think it's, I won't say that. I keep being told not to say that. And I apologize, guys. There's like a bit of information that I have, and I guess I'm not supposed to tell you yet. Every time I go to say it, like my throat gets caught and whatnot. So maybe it's for somebody else to say. So keep an eye out. There's some other things happening this week that apparently I'm not allowed to talk about. But know that we need you. Know that we need your innovation. We know that we need your unconventional, unique, quirky selves. We need you guys to show us how to do things differently. Those of us who've been stuck in ruts, those of us who, Virgo, who's like, but it's supposed to go like this. And if it doesn't go like this, then it's not going to work, right? We need you Aquarians to come in and go, there is another way to do that. There are other ways to do that. Let me show you how, okay? So lean into that. Lean into your quirkiness. Lean into your unconventional social interactions. Like, just be your fucking glorious self. Okay, Pisces. Again, last but never least. Pisces, spiritual responsibility is your theme for the week. Spiritual responsibility. The cosmos are asking you to align your spiritual pursuits with practical responsibility. So again, Pisces, you are our dreamers. You are our, actually, I just saw you like leading us through like collective astral projection, like the realm of the dream world, the realm of immaterial, the realm of the ethereal is your realm. That is what we use Pisceans swim through, right? Constantly. So this week, with that Capricorn energy, we're asking you to ground out a little bit, right? Maybe find the shallower bit of water that you need to swim through so you can see the land a little bit more. I don't know, the analogy is not quite there yet, but align your spiritual pursuits with practical responsibility. Find balance between the dreamy ideals and grounded action to personal growth. It's probably one of those things that's a lifelong process for you, Pisces, is to get out of that dreamy state, to ground out when you're feeling like your head is in the clouds, right? It's okay to lean into grounded relationships that you have. Remember, a lot of this energy is about evaluating our partnerships, our contracts, our relationships with others. So if you have, Pisces, if you have a relationship in your life with someone who feels very grounding, who helps you feel like you can get your head out of the clouds, that you can see things a little bit more clearly or practically, foster those relationships, lean into those relationships, find support in that other person's energy or that other energy. Or again, if there's a part of you, that you're like, but I have this Virgo rising that has this total practical nature to it, and I'm going to lean into that impetus and lean into that energy. Ask yourself, how would a Virgo ground out and when she's all up in the clouds and dreamy? Ask your friends who are more grounded signs. It's okay to explore, and it's okay to admit that you're in the dream space. It's your special gift. It's your talent. And without you, again, we wouldn't have the keeper of the dream space. So thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for bringing our dreams, manifesting our dreams, our collective dreams into reality. Thank you for allowing us the space and the time to explore our dreamscape. And we're going to be doing more and more and more of that as we move forward, again, as we make our big collective shifts. So for you, Pisces, it's about spiritual responsibility. Put a little weight on those, on your dreams. There it is. There was a balloon floating out here, okay? You're on your balloon floating out here. We just want you to come down a little bit. Let a little bit of air out of that so you can come a little bit closer to the ground, because, again, this is how we manifest our dreams, is we bring them down to the earth, we plant them, and we cultivate them so that they can reach back up to the stars where they came from, okay? It's that cycle of pulling down the dreams, putting them into the earth, and allowing the earth to do what she does best, which is to nurture and foster growth and expansion. So to manifest those dreams, those long-term goals, to anchor yourself in the experience of being in this physical reality, being in this meat suit body, you're being asked to ground down that energy, to bring your dreams down to the earth and share them. Share those dreams. Manifest them by planting them and by planning for actionable steps to bring them to life. We know that you have big, 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 big dreams. Pluck a couple that feel most aligned with your authenticity, with who you really are, and plant those babies. Plant those babies. Okay. So again, if anybody else did not hear their sign and would like to hear their sign, or wanted to hear the overview for the week, we can chat about that too. Ryan, I know you're asking for Libra. So Libra, your theme for this week is relationship exploration. Now remember, whenever I talk about relationships, I'm both talking about the internal relationships and the external relationships. For them across the board, to improve our relationships externally, we need to improve our relationships internally. So depending on where you are personally at, Libra, that will denote what kind of relationships we're talking about here. But focus on relationship exploration. Embrace an adventurous spirit in your relationships with yourself or others. Focus or explore new facets of connection and maintain a balance between idealism and reality. So again, we know that you guys can often see the best in people and can be a little idealistic toward others. So bring that down to reality a little bit, but also to be aware of new facets of connecting. There will be new facets of connecting available to you, either new ways of connecting with people, either in person or maybe online or maybe spiritually, or who knows what you're going to lean into. Explore those as they arrive at your door. There are gifts in them for you. That's what we're looking at all these energies for, right? What are the gifts this week? You have gifts available to you in relationship exploration. So either relationships outside of yourself or the relationship with yourself or with dragons and fae. All right. So that's our weekly peekly. I feel like we spent more time on it last week, but I have less information written down for last week. So, love me some fae. I was asked, it was requested that I move this a little bit earlier in the day. I can do that in my schedule. I know that a couple of you are East Coasters. And does anyone want to second that? Do you guys want to, I was going to say vote, but do you guys want to second that? Would you guys like this to be a little bit earlier? I'm still probably going to keep the Friday one from 6 to 8 just because of other things that I have going on Fridays. But this one I have a little bit of availability to move it down to 4 or 5 p.m. Pacific time. So let me know what works for you guys. The whole point of this live is to give you guys the information. I get the information. You're good whenever. Yeah, but you're my neighbor. You're like right there. Same time zone. Right? Or are you an hour later? No, you're still Pacific, right? Nice. Good. And okay, you are an hour later. Yeah. Okay. What's the other important piece? I've got this week's chart out in front of me. And I think, again, I mentioned it in the beginning, but I will reiterate it here. We have Chiron, the key to our healing, the wounded healer, and the true node, both in Aries. Aries is the spark. Aries is the cardinal. Aries is the first horse out of the gate. Aries is the instigator. So if we're asking what is Aries instigating with this energy, that's your true node, which is considered your North Star, right? Your direction, and your key to your healing. So this energy this week, in the way that we plan for our long-term goals, express ourselves authentically, show up for the reevaluation and then reconstruction of our relationships and our shared resources and our contracts and whatnot, agreements with others. This is all maybe not for the purpose, but within it is healing. Within it, available to you, to all of us, is some really powerful healing and some really powerful realignment with our direction. So if there was ever a reason to listen to the cosmos, I feel like that's one. I personally am hellbent on healing. And finding my direction. So I'm going to be leaning into strategic planning this week. So this is what that kind of looks like, guys, right? My sun is in Virgo. Practical planning, organize plans and goals systematically. My rising is Gemini. That's why we are wiped out today. Part of why some of you feel really exhausted, because we're doing reevaluation. We're doing some really heavy lifting with our relationships with ourselves and with others. We're reevaluating things, potentially reevaluating, like, it can either be kind of, job, business, work or contracts or relationships or whatnot, but it can also be very, very, very deep, like your value system, like your belief system, like your, I suspect a lot of people are going through their deconstruction phase right now. I expect a lot of people are going through a manifestation, an unexpected manifestation stage, and things are just showing up at your door, or things are just falling out from underneath you. And there's a lot of rearranging. Again, remember what I was saying earlier? The word I keep hearing is the great rearranging. And it's like a thing too. I'm like, there's some sort of like Italian yelling in there about the great rearranging. and throwing his hands up in the air. Because the kitchen is a mess, right? Things are changing. The business is changing hands. Like, that's what it feels like. There's a lot of renovation, a lot of rejuvenation, a lot of re-evaluation and reconstruction. It's the Great Reset. There you go. I'll go to the abyss and back for my healing, right? Maybe when we're coming out of the abyss, right? Coming out of that Kali Yuga. And the other piece too, again, that warning that I did keep mentioning, the only real warning that I'm going to give this week, because I want you to lean into your authenticity, because I want you to lean into who you really are and what those desires really are and what those ambitions really are. And I want you to say what you mean and mean what you say when you say it, right? Say what you mean what you say what you mean when you say it. The only other warning I would give is that Venus is square Neptune. So there is a potential for unrealistic expectations. When we are planning, especially long-term planning, it's kind of we are likely to fall into an unrealistic expectation at least once or twice, right? There's probably a couple of steps, no matter how impeccable you are, Virgo, with planning ahead, it is very likely that we are all going to write in some kind of unrealistic expectation to our long-term goals. So the big key as we move forward is going to be that when those unrealistic, because you may not realize they're unrealistic right now, right? In this week, while you're doing planning and reconstructing and whatnot, you may not realize they're unrealistic. You may realize they're unrealistic in weeks or months from now. But when you see that, when that becomes clear, that aspect of what you're doing is unrealistic, please allow life to flow through you. Allow life to guide you to a more practical, grounded, aligned with you opportunity or step in that direction. Remember, we are limited little human beings with our tiny little slice of reality that we can see, right? The universe is so much bigger and so much grander, and there are things going on in the universe that we cannot even perceive of, both macro and micro. And so oftentimes I actually don't use the word, I think I said this week, I don't use the word goals or plans so much anymore. I set intentions, because for me, the semantics of that, when I set intentions, that means I'm not permanently attached to the outcomes. For some reason, that works better in my brain. So take it if it works better for you. And by setting intentions, I allow myself to be more flexible when those intentions don't manifest, right? Yes, I intend to go to the event. I intended to go to the event Saturday night, last night, yesterday, that was being put on by a friend. But the reality of the situation was that my son caught a cold, and I ended up, I think, on a phone call with somebody else. There was a couple of things that happened, and I just went letting go of that intention and going, okay, that tonight wasn't for me. Today wasn't for me. That wasn't for me. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to come up again. So I'm going to leave it open for that opportunity to manifest. If that opportunity never manifests, then I know it wasn't for me. It's that simple and that complex. All at once. Who you really are wants to play, let them out. Let them out. That's what it is. That's what this energy is. That's what the universe, that's what Source is begging you to do, is to just be your authentic self. Again, authenticity is the purest expression of non-duality. Authenticity is the purest expression of Source energy. Authenticity is the purest expression of your prana, of your unique slice of energy, of reality. And like the collective chorus, we need you resonating. We need you singing your tune so that the sound, again, so the song slaps. If you're not in the chorus, if you're not over there in that corner singing your tone over here, even if it's a flat note, we need your fucking flat note over there to make it sound just right. Just right. And I think that's a lot of what this energy is going on. What's been going on for the last couple of months, what's going to continue going on, is that the universe is imploring us to align ourselves with our authenticity, with our truest expression of our prana, with our purest expression of our energy, because it's needed, because it's necessary. The world needs you, even if it feels like a fucking mess, right? Okay, I'm just looking at the chart for this week and seeing if there's anything else that really jumps out at me at the moment. If you guys, again, have any questions, let me know. We talk about Chiron and the True Node are both in the first house too, which is aligning with that self, that inner self, the deeper self, the core self. So the opportunity for healing here is just big. The other thing I wanted to mention actually is the move of the moon. We talked about it at the very beginning. The moon is in the first quarter. What happens in the first quarter? Dog. He's laying on the base of the stand. What happens in this first quarter, right, is, again, kind of the beginning of the race. We just went through the new moon, so that's the bell goes off, and we begin the cycle around the moon until we get to the full moon, or until we get, well, back again. But, so that this first quarter moon is often a time where you feel that forward motion energy happening. You feel that instigation happening. You feel that, like, well, now I'm supposed to do something. Now I've got to do something. And when we set intentions over the new moon, then we use the cycle up until the full moon for manifestation, right? And then the other way for clearing out and winding down and preparing again and hibernating and preparing for our next intention and manifestation. So I want you to pay attention to this, because that energy of the moon is moving us from that dreamy state of Pisces, that infinite state of reality being ever expansive and never finite. And then we're moving that from Pisces to Aries to Taurus. So that's moving from that dreamy, open, completely open-ended place to grounded, stable, sitting there. Like, beware the transit over Aries. I'm looking at that right now, and what I'm feeling, so oftentimes we can liken the energy of Taurus to a forest. And so this is kind of that energy that we went from this dreamy space, and there is the potential that fire is in between that dream state and the grounded, stable, balanced state. So there's the potential that it's a purifying fire. There's the potential that there may be a bridge or two that gets burned this week. Be mindful, right? Do this with balance. We're not going to try to go out there and like burn all the fucking bridges, but it may happen. We do have that fire energy in the middle of that transit. So it may also be that something literally ignites a spark within you that fuels the fire within you. And when it fuels the fire within you, it's going to lead you to this place of being able to pull the cart. Taurus has the ability, the image that I've always gotten of Taurus, or one of them, is that Taurus can strap on the cart and plow the entire field without worrying about it. It's not like, oh, this is such hard work. Taurus, this is what Taurus can do. You guys can pull that cart all day long. And I don't want to say without breaking a sweat, because you definitely break a sweat, but it's just that I saw like a horse, you know, taking a long distance. Like this, like that energy is really important to infuse in your long-term goals, because you're going to need those steps, those grounded in reality, practical steps. And watch midweek for that fire. Watch, don't let that fire, right, throw you off balance. Don't let that fire fuel imbalanced responses or reactionary behaviors. Don't let that fire burn a bridge that you actually wanted to keep. Don't let that fire ignite triggers or ignite old wounds that might throw a wrench in your plans, basically. Let that fire, use that fire, channel that fire to spark your ambition, to get your plans going. If you don't know what those plans are yet, please spend time while you've got that Pisces moon in the dream state. You should be, hopefully you were reevaluating some stuff last week and figuring out really what is working and what is not. Now we are starting to really look forward, dreaming about what our long-term stuff is going to be. And this week we're going to start putting things into action. Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions or thoughts, or if you're like, yeah, I've been fucking feeling that shit. Thank you for the follow, friend. Thanks, Ryan. Big hugs to you too. Again, just looking at the chart for the week. Okay. I love you guys so much. So again, an update for this week, what we're going to do this week. I am next Sunday. I'm going to try to move this a little lower. Maybe we'll start at 5 and see if that's better for others. If not, we can possibly move it to 4. Again, this is Pacific time. And we'll see how that works. Today, that means today is Sunday. So tomorrow morning, Monday, we have Bhakti Bites. We have Bhakti Bites at 10 a.m. And we're going to be working with the Dhyana Mudra. I will teach you how to do that. If you do not know the Dhyana Mudra, we will learn that tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Again, we will practice our mudra. We will do a brief meditation. And then after Bhakti Bites is our in-house, if you're a subscriber here, you are either a member over at CAYA Sangha or you have not tried your membership yet. Note that when you subscribe here, you get a free membership over to CAYA Sangha on movewithchange.com. Mondays, we have our in-house practice sessions. So what we do in these practice sessions is we expand on the things that we're doing in Bhakti Bites, in Tiny Yoga, and whatever workshop we're working on. Right now, if you haven't caught on yet, we are doing a 40-day Kriya for addiction, aka attachment, really attachments of any kind. If you haven't started doing the Kriya and you want to join us in doing that, this is going to be any type of attachment that has become unhealthy, self-talk, substance, whatnot, relationship things, whatever, overworking, overgoing to the gym, whatever it is that has become unhealthy and brings you into a place of imbalance or pulls you into a place of imbalance. This Kriya will assist you in letting go of that. We do it for 40 days because it takes about 40 days to integrate a new habit into your life. So if you haven't joined yet, you can either go through my content on the account here and go through each of them one at a time, do one a day. Please, it's only a 5-minute practice. The first video will teach you how to do the practice, and then each video I post every day is a 5-minute, slightly more than 5-minute practice video that will be a timer video basically for it. That said, you can either search my content for that and find that, or you can go over to YouTube. Again, if you haven't followed me on YouTube, please do so. I'm trying to cultivate that channel over there too. We are at Move with Change on YouTube as well. And there's a playlist. So you can go to the playlist and you can get the instruction video and then each and every one of the practice videos, again, once a day, please. if you want to dive even deeper into the practice, and I know that some of you have been, and I'm really excited. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the journal prompts. I have an online program over at Move the Change, and I just made it really accessible because I realized it was totally hidden. Oops. It's on the nav bar. When you go to movewithchange.com, it's completely free. It's an online program. You'll see 40-day Kriya on there. Click that, and it will bring you to the 40-day Kriya practice instruction video, practice video, and journal prompts. Now, there's 2 types of prompts in there. One is about your experience during the practice, and then the other one is further food for thought, right, beyond the practice, and how the practice works with and through attachments. So it's really thought-provoking. I spend a lot of time on making these, and I'm really excited about them because I actually think that they're some of the best that I've done yet for a workshop, which is really exciting. So if you want to dive really deep into this practice, go over to movewithchange.com, find that 40-day Kriya at the top, and then it will open each day the practice for you. So you can't see them all at once. You just do once a day. And then if you, like I said, the only way to get any deeper into that practice is to join CAYA Sangha and to join us on Mondays at 11 a.m. Pacific time for that practice class. So while we're doing the 40-day Kriya, we're talking about Kundalini energy, Kundalini awakening, Kriyas, what Kriyas are, how they work, why we do them. And we dig into that kind of talking about, I almost made this like a full-on for sale workshop, this 40 days, but I decided to not do that much work right before the new year. But next year I will, and possibly even later this year, we will be doing more 40-day Kriyas. I really love them. And when we do those Kriyas, we will be, with that practice session, we'll always be talking about Kundalini energy, Kundalini Kriyas, how and why they work. Ryan, you need to work more with your crown and third eye chakras. This is an aspect of the 40-day Kriya that I really loved and why I picked this one, because the way that this Kriya works, and again, I'm giving away a little bit that we talk about in our practice sessions, the way this Kriya works is by clearing and strengthening the connection between your third eye and your pineal gland. Now, for those of you who've been around a while and we talked about the energy body, you'll know that the third eye chakra is the only one that's at an angle like that. The crown chakra is straight open at the top of your channel. The root chakra is open at the bottom of your channel. The other chakras lean parallel to the earth. The third eye goes through the third eye and down through your pineal gland. So this Kriya works to strengthen that connection, to open that channel, because in Vedic sciences, we look at addiction like attachment. And again, those journal prompts that I was talking about, they prompt you to consider and to dig in deeper to this idea of the connection to our third eye, to our intuition, to our higher wisdom, and to the cosmos, right? And how that affects our tendency toward attachment, or our propensity for attachment. So there's a lot in this Kriya. Again, it's just totally free to go to Move with Change and do the Kriya. You can find the content here on TikTok. You can find a playlist over on YouTube, or you can go actually join the program on Move with Change. Note that when you sign up, I do use you guys' emails when you sign up to send out updates on other workshops and things like that. If I'm having a sale on the cost of membership or private services or anything like that, I use those as well. If you don't want that to be the case and you just want to do the thing, feel free to just message me or to opt out. You should be able to opt out to mailings when you sign up for that. So 40-day Kriya. Yes. So again, as a subscriber, you guys get a free month over at CAYA Sangha. If you have not gotten that free month yet, let me know if you need some assistance with following through on that. Here's the other thing. Here's the other side note. Okay. I have workshops planned all year long. All of my workshops, except for the Kundalini Kriya one, this one, are going to be sold externally as just like a prepackaged work at your own pace sort of thing with the practice sessions on Mondays. So if in March, I will be doing March or April. I forgot. I'm going to be doing the chakra workshop, this chakra series workshop, where we talk about not just the chakras, but the energy body as a whole. And I offer tools and practices of a variety of tools and practices, and we even do them together as to teach you how to understand and how to balance your energy body. Starting in March. Thank you, Gigi. It's an 8-week workshop. So that will be packaged externally to sell like that. If you are a member, it's free to you. And some of these workshops are somewhere between, $199 to $499. Like it behooves you to have the membership and then get access to the twice weekly group coaching, get that 50% discount on all of my other services. That said, if you're a member here, if you subscribed here and you've got that code for the free month over at CAYA Sangha, you can wait and use it during a workshop that you really want to take. I really want to make sure that the CAYA Sangha and these workshops are accessible. I have always been of the belief that it doesn't need to have a heavy lock and a big gate, right? We don't need to have a huge price tag on the gate. This is not a game of that. But there's an exchange is important, right? And that's a learning process for me as my practice and my whatnot have developed, and I have developed and improved my relationship with myself, right? So that stuff is happening. Again, the 40-day Kriya is what we're working on. You can go to movewithchange.com to enroll in the online program completely free. And as a subscriber, you guys get a month over at the CAYA Sangha. If you have any questions about any of that, let me know. I do also offer private one-on-one services over at movewithchange.com. You can find those there too. Friday, we have Tiny Yoga in the morning. That's another live free class. And this week this year, I should say, we are weaving together the themes that come from the Weekly Peakly here, along with the mudra as well as with the Tiny Yoga classes. So they're going to weave the theme of this week together. After Tiny Yoga, on Friday nights is the AstroLIVE natal chart reading. So if you haven't read your natal chart, if you're curious about your natal chart, if you have read your natal chart but you want to dig even deeper into it, come join us on Friday night. That's from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific time for the AstroLIVE natal dive. And then Saturday morning, Bhakti Bites again at 10 a.m. I know it's a new schedule, you guys. So if you guys have any questions or are curious about when these classes are and you're like, wait, I forgot what she said. The schedule is posted at the top of my content, and along with it is a description of each of the events. Each of the classes is there along with the video. So feel free to pin that or save that one or find it at the top. And I guess that's it for this week. Next week we have a full moon, so we'll have a Moon Magic and Mayhem event next week. And otherwise, just watch for shenanigans. There's always shenanigans happening. Lots of shenanigans happening. So lean into your authentic self. Love your authentic self. Make plans for your future with your authentic self. Improve your relationship with your authentic self so that the plans, your ambitions, and your dreams for the future are in line with your authentic self, your truth, your purest expression of source, right? You need more shenanigans. Come, my friend. There are shenanigans. I spent shenanigans this afternoon with another friend. Did I tell you guys that I met my first TikTok friend in person? And actually, she just texted me. I feel so cool. Made a new friend. We went and did high shenanigans, Faye shenanigans. We went hopping through the forest and dipping our toes in the river even though it was cold, and chasing the dog and your jelly. Sorry, I have to get loud. Shh, sorry. I'm really excited about this. So you guys know how I've been. I know some of you already heard this because I was talking about it at the beginning, but for those of you who didn't see it, I'm really excited. I want to share it with you too. You know all the witch's butter that I have been collecting, right? That you've seen me collecting and making videos of and really excited about because I'm seeing it like everywhere this season. I finally attempted making gummies out of, because witch's butter is a jelly mush or a jelly fungus. And so they're squishy, right? Like you guys saw me put them on my toast. So I haven't perfected it yet. This is totally a work in progress. Because what I find is they keep reabsorbing the sugar, and it keeps turning into just like a wet, gooey mess. And so I re-roll them in sugar again, and they look all cute like gummies, and they separate, and they're great. And then they end up oozing, absorbing the sugar, and becoming more wet all over again. So I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to fix that. I did read somewhere that somebody said, or a couple people that said that they tried to dehydrate them first to deal with that, but they just ended up disappearing because it's a jelly mushroom. So look. Aren't they cute? They're just little, like, sugary jelly mushrooms. It looks like just like a chunk of, what's that orange? Marmalade. It looks like a chunk of marmalade. But it looks like honeycomb, right? But it's really, really sugary because I keep trying to, it does. Like I said, I roll it around in sugar and it looks good and I can, like, pick it up and eat it. But then it just absorbs the sugar. But if we dehydrate it, then it's just going to lose all of its chewiness. I don't know what to do, guys. But what's really good, looks like orange chicken. Mm-hmm. I'm a vegetarian, I swear. What was really cool though, Gigi, I'm glad you got home. Pepper flake would be fun for a little kick. But it also, sorry, I'm just to show you squishy jelly mushroom. But it wouldn't really solve the, like, gooiness, right? The fact that it just keeps absorbing. It just keeps absorbing. And moving really slowly. So what was really cool about where I collected this was that we were in a portion of the forest that had been burned a number of years ago in a local fire. So all of these trees were just charred. And it was a pretty badly burned area. There was, like, you could see some new things growing, right? Because it'd been a couple years. But as I'm harvesting them, I was trying to get them without the bark. But then I realized as I was collecting it that it's charcoal. And charcoal actually has positive benefit when you consume a little bit of it. So I left it in there. And so now I feel like even more of a weird hippy dippy witchy person with my sugary mushrooms and charcoal gummies. Hi, shenanigans. Hi, shenanigans. Anyway, nature's life-giving miracle. So, I got to gift my new friend some of these. She came by, we hung out, went out for shenanigans, came home, and shared more shenanigans. I wish you guys were all here. I would pass it around the fire. We'd start a big bonfire out there and pass it around the fire so we could all try the little gummy, sugary candy things. But when I figure out how to make them not gooey, I think that's gonna be the cream of the crop, the kicker, right? That. Okay, guys. I've told you about my mushrooms. I've told you about the planets. I've implored you to be authentic because you're fucking beautiful when you're authentic. You're fucking beautiful anyway, but when you're authentic, it shines through in the most magnificent way. Ooh, yes, spring equinox shenanigans. Yes! Yes! Maybe we should, like, plan a gathering, especially since there's a real potential that the owners, I just found out the owners of this house are going to sell the house. They just told me that a couple days ago. So that's a really huge change for me and a really big bummer for me. But also, again, life does not always lead us in the direction that we are most expect it to. And if nothing else, my life has fucking taught me that like, sit back, enjoy the ride, but time together. Let's have some time together. Universe direct. So yeah, if anybody is interested or wanting to come for a visit, because I'm pretty sure that we will not be spending more years here unless the universe offers something different, offers something. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? I never know. Maybe they'll. I don't know. What was I going to look at though? I was going to look up when the spring equinox is. March 19th. March 19th. Pacific time. 19th to the 20th, looks like. And it's the day before my son's birthday. My son's birthday is on the 20th. So maybe we're going to have a massive birthday party for you. He just went like a creeper. He did the scary face. So, party at my place. Equinox party at my place / celebration of this stubborn little Taurus's birthday. Hey! I love you. I'm actually really proud of you for your stubbornness. It's something that I did not have when I was younger. I'm proud of you for your confidence, even if it feels a little bit obtuse to me, because I struggle with self-esteem and things like that and negative self-talk. But I so appreciate that you don't seem to struggle with that in certain ways, and it makes me really proud as a mama to see you be able to go out in the world and be like, I'm my badass self. I fucking belong here. What about you? Who are you?
Oh, thank you. Could I give you a hug?
Everyone prepare Minecraft stuff for the birthday. We did talk about going. We have a some interesting. Well, I don't tell where I am on lives really. Yes, I will take a hug in just a second. But we were considering having possibly he really likes Black Panther too, and I have a thing with Black Panther. Whereas many years ago during Black Panther has come to me in dream or otherwise state, and so I've always had a close relationship with Black Panther, and I've always talked before he ever saw the superhero. He understood Black Panther as an energy that was protective, that we carried with us, that stays with us in our home, and protects him in the dark, right? So then he found the superhero, and he was like, well, then now there's a superhero, so now I'm in love. So we were talking about possibly having a Black Panther superhero-ish party on the 20th. It's all about Fortnite for your sons. I don't let him do Fortnite yet. I'm that mom because I've been studying marketing and like that sort of like how the brain works with the instant gratification stuff and the screen stuff and whatnot. I've been studying it since the fucking 90s, and so I'm totally a Debbie Downer. I'm totally a wet blanket with it, and I'm like, I don't want you playing that because there's all this killing and all of these other things, and you're pretty much just rotting your brain, wasting your time. I do let him play. I promise you guys, I do let him play some video games. I'm not a total asshole, but you have to do your chores to get your video games. Anyway, that's all the delicious, juicy news this week. That is our weekly peekly. I feel like a news anchor tonight. Thank you so much for joining us for our weekly peekly. This is Deborah signing off. Just wrote another paper on it relating to the development of the brain. Blah, blah. See, I'm not the only one. Time to go dance on the porch. You know it. I will, at some point, we're going to have snow soon enough. And I think when the snow comes, it really hasn't been that cold. I will officially start doing the vote on a onesie again. I need a spot to hang my onesies because now I have double the amount of onesies. So I think I've got a spot here on the wall. So you guys can help me pick out a dancing on the porch onesie. Once that style of shenanigan comes on again. I just wish we could dance on the porch together. I mean, we will dance around the fire, spring equinox, right? But I just wish we could dance on the porch together because it's really awkward for me to be wearing my avocado onesie and then turn on TikTok and be live and with my little rainbow whatever wig and being silly on the porch, but it's just you guys staring at me being silly on the porch. It's not the same. It's not the same. Okay. So long, farewell, avidas and goodbye. I'm going to go dance on the porch. I'm going to go get in a onesie and dance on the porch and have a fantastic evening. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your Sunday. And I hope to see you tomorrow morning in Bhakti Bites. Oh, that's the other piece. So group coaching for you guys who are in the CAYA Sangha is Wednesday night at 4:30 Pacific time, 4:30 to 5:30 Pacific time, Wednesday night. And then Saturday from either 11 to noon or maybe 11:30 to 12:30. Sometimes Bhakti Bites run a little bit late. We can, schedule is changing, schedule is shifting. It's a new year, it's new stuff. And so thank you guys for your patience, and thank you guys for joining me for all the shenanigans. I love you. Enjoy your week. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Okay, go dance on the porch.